800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Guten Montag. Ja, wir sind bitte auf dem Radio. Here's der Patrick. I don't know why I'm speaking German. Because I can. Good afternoon, Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. I'm actually doing a show on Monday. Holy crap, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Either I'm not busy enough or I'm getting paid way too much. I'm not sure which it is. I'm going to hope it's the latter, but I'm doing a Monday show. Can you believe it? I'm back. It was a good weekend, 4th of July. Fireworks, hot dogs, burgers, actually ribs, not burgers. Well, I did have a couple hot dogs. What did you eat? Huh? What did you have over the holiday? Anything fun? Anything interesting? Share with us at Spoony Radio on Facebook and tell us what you made. I'll bet you didn't have this, though, if you go to Spoony Radio's Facebook page right now. I just posted something I found at Delish, and it kind of ruined my appetite for the rest of the day. Apparently, someone over the 4th of July weekend was needing a drink, particularly a drink of rum. Some sort of spiced rum. I don't know. It doesn't look like Captain Morgan's. It looks like a knockoff of something like Captain Morgan because the legs end up in the air. And apparently someone took a block of Spam and cut the center of it out to make a shot glass, filled it with the rum, and then drank it. I don't know if they actually drank it, but it looks as if they actually drank it. Dude.
That sounds awful.
Go to the Spoony Radio go to the Spoony Radio Facebook page. I couldn't read the whole article. It was just kind of making my stomach turn a little bit. I'm not hungover. No, I'm not drinking yet. I just saw this and I was like, wow, what an insult to both Spam and the rum. I believe, though, was it this last week or the week before? I think down in Austin they had, was it the Spamathon or Spam something? It's some contest. They have an annual contest. They just brought back that's an annual Spam cook-off, which, to be honest with you, would be very interesting. Because if you don't know, and I've talked about it on the air a lot, but in Hawaii and in Alaska, they eat a lot of Spam because it's shelf stable. And for some reason, the Hawaiians at least have a fascination and love for that canned potted meat like no other culture. And oh, dude, every Blue Plate special just about has Spam in it. And, I'm going to have to do a whole segment on Spam where we just talk about the creative recipes and some of the past winning recipes from competitions.
Have you ever had Spam musubi?
I have. That's funny. You know musubi?
I know musubi. Yeah.
Huh, that's awesome. So when I've told this story before, but when I worked in Denver at a place called Tommy Tsunami's, we had a great we had a great sushi chef from Hawaii. His name was Lee Allen, and he was our mentor there and our teacher. We made this green eggs and Spam roll as a take on the famous Dr. Seuss book. And what it was the green eggs were actually wasabi tobiko. Tobiko is flying fish, and the tobiko it was Tobiko flying fish roe, right? So they're the really tiny eggs that are a little bit harder, not the ones that you find on like California roll. Those are orange. Those are Masago. That's from Smelt. So anyway, it's that. They're green Tabasco, basically. They're wasabi flavored. And inside we took the low sodium Spam and we toasted it in like bâtonnet or shape, which is like a thick French fry. We toasted that in the toaster oven until it got nice and crispy. We put those in there with cucumber and avocado, rolled it up, put the eggs on top, cut it open, and put the eel sauce on top of that. It was actually not bad. It was a big seller just as a novelty, but people ended up actually enjoying it. So, green eggs and Spam. We had that. We had the Big O.
What's the Big O?
The big, oh, sorry. So the most embarrassing moment of my entire sushi career was another fellow employee. His girlfriend came in and said, help me. I'm like, well, we're just about to shut down. What can I get you? Want me to get you out of the kitchen? She goes, no. I need a multiple Big O to go. And I'm like, hey, man, he's in the kitchen. I'm out of this. It was funny. They embarrassed because I'm pretty socially in public. I'm a pretty shy person. I don't Okay, I used to be. Maybe not so much anymore. If you know me now, maybe I'm a little more boisterous. But anyway, that was slightly embarrassing. But luckily, I didn't have to make anything for her to take home. He took care of that. So, man, there was just a lot of really, really fun stuff. You know, the coolest thing about being that in that position is you were it wasn't the spam, by the way. But the coolest thing about that position is you're a server, a confidant, a bartender. You get to be as creative as you want within the confines of what your guests will eat, and it was just really fun. You know, I spent like 7 years just doing that. It was awesome. One of my favorite things to ever do. Anyway, yeah. So please go to the Spoony Facebook page, Spoony Radio Facebook page. Check that out. I put hashtag rum, not hashtag spam. So, man, they just spammed rum. I can't do it. I can't even imagine that. So don't dare me to, because then I'll have to, and I really don't want to have to. So let's go ahead and see who's coming. Richard Brant's in there. They should have dumped the spam out, washed the can out, and used the can to drink with. There you go. There you go. It's kind of like the lady that was drinking wine from the Pringles can at Walmart. She was rolling around on that little cart. That was awesome. Actually, some people are now, I think they're making a wine bottle, like a wine drinking glass that looks like a can of Pringles. So, hey, whatever makes a buck. All right, I can only see a couple of comments here. Summy, welcome back. You went to a party in Las Colinas. Really? Did you drink spam did you drink rum out of a hollowed out spam? Because if you haven't, man, you are not living. That is living, baby. Let me tell you.
I might try that after I get off work.
I'm not. But hey, if you don't drink, or you apparently, we have dry January here because a lot of people drink to excess during the holidays. So we have dry January, which, quitters. It is what it is. But they have this new thing. It's a fundraising effort in Australia, and I believe it's for it's a fundraising initiative. It doesn't say addiction medicine specialists from Australia. They're a private treatment center. They are warning participants of the Dry July fundraising initiative to remain extra vigilant during the month, because it's reminding them that your body can develop a chemical dependency on alcohol. It's one of the only drugs that when you quit, it can actually kill you. You know, there's a great song called S.O.B. You ever heard that by what's his name, Radcliffe and the he's from Denver,
yeah,
right?
It's a good song.
Nathaniel Radcliffe and the I'll think of it in a second. But anyway, it's called S.O.B. He's like, he's basically saying, I'm gonna need someone to hold me down, to take care of me, because he's trying to quit drinking. For 17 years he's been drinking, and another 17 they'll bury him, is what he says. So, but it really describes the DTs, where you feel like there are bugs crawling over your body, and you hallucinate. You go, it's a terrible thing. So what they're saying is, if you drink heavily, don't just go dry. Like, cut back,
wean.
But just don't quit, or talk to your physician about that. So I was like, okay, well, apparently they've raised like $5 million with 43,000 participants so far, which is good. Good for them. Huh. Yeah, well, I'm not a quitter, so I'm going to keep drinking, just a little bit less here and there. So if you heard my show last week, I talked a couple of times about the importance of having a mentor. And one of my mentors is going to be on the show today. My sister Carrie, and her husband Kevin will be there, I'm sure, in the background, if not front and center. Very interesting couple. They do all sorts of consulting, coaching, and she's one of my mentors. And so we're going to talk about, is it impossible to make ends meet, to have an impact on the world, and achieve what you want to achieve without a mentor? Absolutely yes. But it sure does help shortcut things, because we'll talk about that, and how the world of, what is a coach exactly? What is a coach? What is a mentor? We'll talk about that. It comes in many shapes and sizes and stuff. And I got a couple gifts here I need to open up, We're going to open this in a minute, something I talked about last week on the show as well. But if you did eat a little too much over the weekend, or you've changed your diet, or maybe you did go dry on alcohol, you're just not feeling well because you've changed your entire diet, well, that's probably because your biome, in the gut, right? All those microbes, the good, the bad, the ugly down there may have changed a little bit, or maybe you just suffer from, look, I'm 50, my diet changes all the time, and I don't know, it doesn't always agree with me. So You can go to atrantil.com. Actually, it's lovemytummy.com. Atrantil is it's basically a prebiotic and probiotic all in one, and it creates pretty much the perfect biome in your stomach, or in your gut, rather, lower gut. So check it out. Yes, it's good for all sorts of things. It's actually got some amazing anti-aging properties, and I'll tell you what, it gives me a lot of energy. If you haven't noticed, I'm awake today. I took my Atrantil with my lunch. Some fantastic food, by the way, left for us by Chef Keith of Buttons. They're opening a new restaurant. I think it just opened or is just opening. He was on a show today with Trey Chapman of Trey's Chat on Live. It'll be airing, I believe, next week or the week after. Trey's going to be out of town. So anyway, go to lovemytummy.com /Spoony, and you'll get your 10% discount. That's Atrantil. Good for your tummy. It's good stuff, man. There's so much good stuff in here. I can't even, it's just, anyway, it makes you feel better. All right. So, and then if you want to really feel a lot better, you see this bag right here? There's a bag here from Austin American Shaman. Well, I'm going to talk about them in a minute, but if you want to feel really good, you can go to, is it KBMD, Kenneth Brown MD, health.com, and order his full spectrum CBD product. It's amazing. I've taken, I don't know, 30 different CBD products. I'm on the advisory council for another company that is not his company. For CBD products. And I'm telling you, at the price point, it's pretty fantastic. It really is. But on that note, while in Austin recently, I found this Austin American Shaman. Okay, so American Shaman is a line of CBD products, which is pretty, you can find them all over. But I'm going to give them a plug, because if you go to them, it's Austin American Shaman. It's not Austin East, right? I will actually put their link up on the Facebook page, and they have this awesome product that came out. This is a cacao formula, like plant-based protein powder. So it has, it's vegan, it's paleo, gluten-free, plant-based, nothing artificial, no dairy, no GMO, no soy, no corn. And this has cacao, which is basically cocoa powder, right? It's raw though, which is a different flavor and texture. It has hemp protein, has coconut milk powder, date sugar, Brazil nut, macadamia nut, pecan, spirulina, has matcha, which is green tea. It's the ceremonial type of green tea where they sit down and they have a little bowl and a little bamboo whisk, and they do the whole tea ceremony. It has chlorella. That's a really good green algae type substance. It's really good for you. There's some other Himalayan pink salt, red maca root powder, chicory root, which fiber. Anyway, this stuff I'm going to try. I haven't tried it yet, but these people were so incredible. I really want to tell their story in the air. I'd like to have them on the program when I do it. But one of the fantastic things that they did is, and they were just about not quite retirement age, and they took everything they'd ever owned and they put it towards opening this store. And as a consultant, one of the first things I ask is, if say you have a restaurant, right, and your restaurant's $200,000 in debt, you've been doing well for 15 years, and all of a sudden you're 16, 17, something happens. Doesn't matter what it is. The economy changed. There's a tragic family loss. You open a second restaurant. It didn't go right. You failed to monetize that, and maybe it closed and put you in debt. But one of my first questions is there anything that you're not willing to do to make this business work? And I never even asked them. I just asked them to tell me their story. And their story is pretty powerful. It took them a long time to open, longer to open than expected. And then it was really, really, really slow, with a lot of pushback and a lot of inquisitive visits from law enforcement agencies. And as they went forward, they finally were able to make some money, but they lost some things. I think they talked about having some personal properties, repossessed and things like that. It was just a fantastic story. They're doing very well now. Kudos to them. It's Gene and Elsie. They're at, again, Austin American Shaman. It's a CBD store in Austin. And if you're down that way, go visit them. Fantastic. I'll go through some of their other products. They have some great hand lotion that actually is is very good. It doesn't leave like a sticky feeling. And so when I used my phone right afterward, it was awesome. Nothing. No greasiness, no fingerprints. I really enjoyed it. And my hands, I'm kind of arthritic from cooking so long. It worked very well. Anyway, so right here, we're going to open something on the air today. See, I brought a pocket knife somewhere. There we go. Ugh. All right. So last week, I talked about all those pretty knives I got from the Kanshang Knife Company, right? Well, I have no way to display them in here. I don't. So I said, hey, what would be a good way to display these? And they offered to send me some knife rails. So if you don't know what that is, it's a magnetic rail, which I don't typically advocate for because magnetic typically means metal. And these metal rails, when you hang your knife on them, then what does it do? It dulls the blade. It's not good. So not good for the knife. Geez. Hey, they're good at packaging too. Look at this. Look at this. See, I'm cutting away from my hand, folks. See? Cut away from your hand. All right. One more time. Jeez. Man, that thing is really buttoned up in there. All right, so anyway, while I get these open, I want to talk about the importance of that. Their knife rails are a little different. They are actually made of a solid walnut, which covers up the magnet, right? So, yes, yay, look at that. Woo, look at that. I bet it looks just like the cover. And your knives hang on it just like that. So we will open up. I'll grab some knives later and I'll hang them up on here so everybody can see what that looks like. But that's just, it's like that unwrapping stuff on YouTube where that little boy in Houston makes $21 million a year. I think if I just keep doing this on the air, I could make $21 next year. I'm just joking. I'm not as cute as that little kid is. All right, so here we go. Oh, yes. We are going to stick some knives on that right after this segment. And, yeah, that's awesome stuff. Thank you so much. I really can't thank the team at Kanshang enough. They've been really, really, really generous to me and to the Spoony team here. Thank you very much for, allowing me to do a Facebook Live demo for video for you at the National Restaurant Association's 100th anniversary show this year, and also just for having a little faith in me that I can grow the business a little bit for all of us. But anyway, if you need a new set of knives, they have knives for all level, professional to the home cook, to the home serious foodie, and you can just go to it's CANGCHAN cutlery.com. It's kangshancutlery.com. Check it out. They have some amazing products. I'll put the link up here in just a second. But, yeah, I can't, man, where do I hang this? No, can't put it on the Spoony logo. Oh, yeah, right over there. Right over there to the left of the, it's going to go right up there. All right, so we'll figure that out later. Let's see, what else is in food news today? I don't want to talk too much about my sister come on the show because, it's just kind of organic. The way that we have our conversations is we don't like to go into too much detail when we pre-talk the topic, and then all sorts of fun stuff comes out during the show. Let's see. New York and Chicago may not agree on what pizza is, but they can agree that Wisconsin pizza is not pizza. This better not be like pickled pizza. This, what the heck is that? Okay, it's veggie pizza on the lake. It's basically some sort of gluten-free dough with broccoli, red bell peppers, cucumber, green bell pepper, looks like a light ranch spread, and some shredded cheese on there. And yeah, okay, I'm not even going to post that one because it just doesn't look right. Japan takes summer dessert to the next level with shaved ice as big as your head. Oh, my. Oh, can I tell you what? This is a good topic. So one of my favorite desserts is actually, ooh, wow, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna let that roll. I'm gonna enlarge it and let that roll for a second. All right, so when I worked in Japan, I worked at this place called the Havana Rum. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Woohoo! Now that's some shaved ice right there. So what they do in Japan, shaved ice is called a frappe, right? Frappe is not an actual drink in Japan. It's shaved ice. And the way that they make it is they put the shaved ice in, and you may do one layer, you may do just one big mound of it, but typically you may put a syrup on it, but it's not like the fruit syrups that we use typically. They'll put we made this one that was just a fruit shaved ice, fruit frappe, very traditional French style. It was this Hawaiian, really thin shaved ice. You saw the guy doing it by hand right here on the video if you're watching. We did the ice by hand. There was a machine. You cranked it. It shaved the ice, it's just so thin and delicate that way. And anyway, so I'm tired of holding my computer up like that. Very good stuff. Then you would put some syrup and maybe another layer of the ice, and then typically something like sweetened condensed milk, right? And then a little bit of another flavor, but then you would cover the entire top with fruit. And so the way we did the fruit was it would be like a line of kiwi, right? And then a line of, it would be kiwi, then maybe like strawberry, then strawberry, then, I don't know, banana, and then it would have blueberries and another fruit, maybe orange segments or something like that, tangerine. But it was fantastic. You know, when they said like shaved ice, I thought it was just going to be like the stuff you get at the carnival, like that really kind of granulated shaved ice that comes in a paper cone, and we put some blue coloring on there, you know. And again, whoever thought of blue raspberry? Blue raspberry doesn't exist, right? Why do we have blue raspberry food flavor? It's disgusting, all right? And it makes your mouth all blue. All right. So, but the first time I had this, it was so light and so rich at the same time. The key, I think, was the sweetened condensed milk. They use that a lot in Japan. They put it on like dip strawberries in it. One of my favorite actual simple desserts. Anyway, it was really good. All right, let's go back to some comments here. Dustin Caudill says, I need some of those reels for my shed, fur shed. You know, my dad, I'll tell you a story about that. Richard Brent, I do wonder, though, how hickory smoked pineapple ale would taste when served in hollowed out Spam. I don't. Let's not try it. Hello, Marie. Let's see. Richard Brent, they should have dumped the Spam. Oh, yeah, we talked about that a minute ago. Okay, let's go back. Let's see if there are any more comments real quick before we go to break. Here we go. Make sure the volume is off. Yeah, they should have dumped it out. Yes, they should have. Need some of those rolls for my fur. Okay, you're gonna have to explain to me, Dustin, what your fur shed is. I'm guessing that that you're talking about a fur like drying shed. My dad ran like a 30-mile trap line in the wintertime on a snowmobile, and I have pictures somewhere. I hope they didn't burn up in the fire, but basically it was there was a kind of a drying rack that he made that was just two poles leaned together at each end. It looked like a tent without a cover, and it had one pole tied in at the top, and then three more as you went down until they ended about 4 feet from the ground. And he would dry pelts out there. Yeah, it was. I have to say, thank goodness he did it in the winter, because it was an interesting smell that I'm sure I did not want to have to enjoy during the summertime. But anyway, so stay tuned, please. My sister Karen Carey will be coming up in the next half an hour. Probably stay over maybe in part of another segment. We're going to talk about the importance of mentors. What is a mentor? Where do you find one? And why do you need them? Right? It's again, it's not imperative to your business or to your educational success, but it certainly doesn't hurt to have one. We'll talk about, I'll tell you, I really didn't have a mentor that I was aware of until I was probably, well into my culinary career. So we'll talk about that in a minute. A couple other topics. I also have the top 30 foods, the best summer foods for weight loss. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. In the meantime, stay tuned. Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. We will be right back. Talking food, fun, and why you need a mentor. Stay tuned.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter at Food Biz Pro.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. 800-218-6473. That's 800-218-6473.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
And we're back. Again, Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro, and we have a caller on the line. Caller number one, you are the lucky winner or the unlucky victim. Hello, Karen. How are you?
Hello, bro. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good, actually. I'm, I always say I'm living the dream. Maybe I need a better dream. I think, I'm working on the better dream thing. So things are going pretty well. Things are going pretty well.
I'm sitting outside, surrounded by trees and beautiful.
Oh,
yes.
Oh my goodness. Where are you? Are you backyard or?
Outside of my my back deck. Yep. Fantastic.
That is a nice little place, I have to say. And it's really not that little. It's beautiful.
I know, right? We did pretty good again.
Yes, you did. You always do. We should tell the ghost stories sometime.
The ghost stories?
Yeah, no, from the one that pinched my ass when I was sleeping in your guest room.
Yeah, there's so many ghost stories. What can I say?
For me, not as many. But do you remember that?
Okay.
That was your last.
When was it? Which
that
place?
was your last place, the one Ross wouldn't stay at. So, remember that?
Oh, the one on Caroline Street.
Yeah, when I was sleeping in the it was the guest room, Kevin's office, and the exercise room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was laying there, and it felt like something sat on the bed, and then all of a sudden there was like this pressure on my butt, like somebody's like something bit me, and it didn't do it right. And
honestly,
I was like,
that place was so filled with ghosts. Even though we were there for like 6 years or 5 years, whatever it was like enough already. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a job.
Was it a full-time job? Did it take its toll?
It was kind of a full-time job. Yeah. It did.
Oh, I guess I'm glad I don't hear and see everything you do. Sometimes.
Well, you did get your butt pinched.
Well, maybe it was. Oh, it looks like Gay. So our sister Gay just joined in too. Hi, Galen. How are you? I was just talking about, somebody was saying, so I got these cool knife rails, right, from the Kanshang Knife Company. I told you about that sponsor I have.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. They're like completely walnut covered. And so you don't have to stick your knife to the magnet. The magnet's covered under the solid walnut. So I was just trying to figure out where to mount that. So during the break, I'm going to grab some knives and I'll just lay them against it. But it's pretty cool. And while I was talking about that,
sounds awesome.
Yeah. So somebody was saying they needed some of these rails for his fur shed, and I'm like, fur shed? I was like, he's like, yeah, that's where I process an animal. That's where I process the animals and then dry the fur. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I thought about Dad. You know, you already moved out, but when we lived in Gary's house, our brother bought my parents' house, basically. He had this rack outside that he would, he ran that stupid trap line every morning. I say stupid. Dad was an industrious person, to say the least. So anyway, he would run the trap line, and then he always had all sorts of pelts hanging out there. I'm so glad it was wintertime, because I can't imagine what that would smell like in the summertime. But he always.
Do you know what the story did? Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Did you ever hear this? Did you ever hear the story about the big white house that you think had a wraparound porch, which I drove by and it did not?
It was on the back.
No, it didn't.
It didn't have one on the front side towards 9N?
No. Nope.
Okay, just the front.
No wraparound.
Just the front.
It had like
little tiny,
little tiny front, part, but
whatever.
Not,
details.
Not that I needed to be right or anything, but hey. So one time we drive home. I guess Dad's gone hunting. We drive up into the driveway, and there, hanging from a tree, is a deer.
Oh, he
obviously all the blood dripping out or whatever they do with that, right? So, yeah, Mom is about as furious as I have ever seen her in my entire life. There wasn't too many lines that he could cross, but I guess that was one of them. So I think that deer was gone within about 15 minutes.
Wow. I've seen Mom pretty mad. I remember I was an adult when she threw a phone at my head one time. Poor woman. I don't know what I did.
Oh, there you go.
I must have said something because, there were certain things you just didn't say to Mom, right? You didn't. She was a really sweet person, and being a smart ass to her was not a good idea.
I thought the ear pulling thing, which she adopted basically for you guys, she didn't do that to us. And I was pretty easy as well. But she had this thing where she controlled the grandkids by the painful pulling on the ear whenever they weren't behaving.
Yes, she did.
And I don't know if she ever did that to you.
A little, but I think that came for Ross and Chris mostly. So you're years and days oldest, right? So what was interesting though, there we go. Now I can get it out there where people can see it. There we go. They just have it on one camera today. It's not switching. So I'm just trying to get the Canashane knife rail up there where people can see it and how pretty it is. All right. So, it's funny, you talk about we'll get into the mentor thing here in just a minute, but I oh, there it goes. Now they switched. Okay, I didn't realize it was switching cameras today. Okay, there we go. So I was not where I was supposed to be one night, and apparently whomever I was supposed to be with, Carl Van Leuven, we were something about registering bikes at the junior high or high school or whatever, and I was supposed to take anyway, I wasn't there. I was somewhere else. Doesn't really matter where. Okay. I got home and she was like, oh, so how'd it go? Oh, it was good. And, well, did it take long? Well, yeah, it took longer than expected. And, she was, oh, that's funny because Carl called here looking for you because he said you didn't show up. I was like, okay. So anyway, so I could be grounded. She was going to hit me with the little measuring stick, her little yardsticks that she had. Well, So I was like, I'll take the one hit. So I bent over and I was probably 15 or 14, and it broke. Right, it cracked, and I laughed. So she didn't say anything. She just walked out of the room quietly, came back, and she had she taped two of them together and said, let me try that again. And I was like, and our mom was she was not like a big spanker. I mean, once in a while she'd just pop you when you got mouthy. But yes, I don't think I ever laughed at any misfortune or Yeah, you didn't laugh anymore.
Oh my God. Well, your experience was very different than ours, your older siblings, because we had our insane father to do all of the beatings and all that kind of stuff. So
Well,
I love
I got
that
one.
Mom,
From Dad.
right?
Yeah, I was little.
Right?
Mhm.
There you go. But I love that Mom, like, adopted sort of this, like, more proactive, way with you guys. It made more sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure I probably needed the whoopings more than I got, but I'll accept what I got with, man, she had this thing about wooden spoons in the summertime in Arizona in the kitchen. Like, she'd tell you to shut up one time, stop fighting in the kitchen one time, and then pop you on the back of the leg if you didn't listen. And it was like that wooden spoon would leave that welt,
Yeah.
And this was before the time when somebody at school would see that and CPS would call you, right?
Right. Exactly.
And so,
Exactly. Yeah.
anyway, I was just
Back of the legs. That was a good spot or a bad spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Too
Well,
funny.
look at us. We all came out pretty good, right?
Absolutely.
I think we're all mostly sane, as best people can be sane.
Mm-hmm.
We're all sort of eclectic. We do things differently and probably see things differently, but I think we're all so amazingly close. I love that about us.
Yeah, you know what? And that's something we talk about. You and I talk about all the time. Is we and I apologize if this involves any friends or loved ones. This isn't meant towards you. Okay, I've always been confused by families that say, "Oh, my brother and I haven't talked in 20 years." I'm like, why?
Exactly. Why? Right?
Well, I don't really remember. And I'm always confounded by that because although we have not lived in the same city since we have not lived in the actual same town. You and I, since I was 4?
Right.
Right? Probably?
No, it's a little bit older than that, but yes.
Well,
in the area. Maybe.
Yeah, but you moved to did you move to Corinth or Saratoga first?
Oh, I see what you mean. Right. So I left home as soon as I graduated, like within, I think, 2 months. And I moved to Corinth for about, I think I lived there 4 or 5 months maybe, or 3, something like that. And then I moved right to Saratoga.
Okay. And so right now we are 12 years apart, 13 years apart, right?
13. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about right. Somewhere in there. So it's just been a long time. But again, we can just call and kind of pick up where we left off. And I love it. It's always nice.
And And I hear people say, like, I don't really know my older brothers and sisters, but I think, like, because I took so much care of you, that, you were like, you weren't like the strange brothers and sisters that I wouldn't know. It's more like, like we were all growing up together.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also,
and then you left.
Mm-hmm. I did. We did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and Mom was Mom was sick all the time, right? So, and look, this is the Mosher Family Hour. Welcome to the Food Biz Pros Mosher Monday.
Right.
the stories and history from the annals of the Mosher, family, whatever. There's nothing fancy there to talk about, but so
I thought we. Are you ready for this? I thought we should call ourselves Food for Thought.
There you go. You know what? I love that too.
How's that?
I love it.
All right.
I love it. And
actually, Kevin came up with it, not me.
Well, there you go. Food for thought. That's what we're gonna do on Mondays. Food for thought. That's
Food for thought.
Yeah, food for thought on Monday. All right. So we'll do this. We're gonna do this segment. Hello, Kevin. How are you? Is he hiding in the background there somewhere?
No,
he's busy?
He's in the other room. He's working on other things. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mom was sick, and so
I'll tell him you said hello.
Well, yeah, thank you. But you and Galen took care of us a lot, and even Gary, because you three were so much older than Bernice and I. Bernice not so much because she was always at her best friend Patty's house, but I mean, I was kind of. I was at an odd age to be living in the country with just relatives across the street, and my closest friends were like a mile in each direction down the road. So, my nearest friends, and so yeah, I mean, you took care of us a lot, me especially, and it kept us close. And I think also that generation gap between us, made you more like aunts and uncles at some points during my life than brothers and sister. There wasn't as much there was no competition, right? Because the age gap, there was no. Yeah. Anyway, it was fun. It was great. I have to tell you, for a family that puts the fun in dysfunctional, like all families do, by the way. Yep, all families. Just telling y'all, none of y'all are normal. None of you. But for a family that puts the fun in dysfunctional, we sure had a great time growing up, even with all the oddities in our family. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really wouldn't.
Me either. Me either.
Oh my gosh, some of the stories I want to tell right now, but I'm not gonna. So with that said, I mean, we were going to talk about mentorship and mentors and what that means today, and really, that's kind of you and Karen and Gary in very different ways, because you're that again a separate generation of children in the same generation in the family. You were basically mentors. You were. I learned a lot from all three of you in different ways. And
I'm sorry.
No. I mean, look, I learned to fish from Gary. I mean, Dad taught me a little bit, and just all sorts of fun stuff with him. And also, believe it or he can be a fairly mature adult, believe it or not, on occasion. And a lot of words of wisdom. I mean, Gary doesn't pretend to be anything he's not. Gary's Gary, right? And I think that authenticity and just being his.
That's what we love about him.
Gary's Gary. He's pretty consistent at that, and I love it. I do love that about him. Gay was she's a lot like Mom. She's very nurturing, and very much that nurturing personality. You and I are kind of adventurers, travelers, wonders of what we don't know more than what we do know. Seeking knowledge and enlightenment, maybe. I through food.
That's great.
I through food and travel, and you through other means. Through spirituality and all sorts of other interesting endeavors. But again, so back to mentoring. We both came into mentors at different parts in our lives, and. I mean, what is a mentor to begin with? When people think mentor, it's got this heavenly person just dropped out of the sky and is all of a sudden the one to, take away your ails and fix all of your quirks, like make you the whole human being you're supposed to be. I don't think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what is it to you?
You know what? I just think it's, a mentor can be anyone you can learn from. That when that learning and knowledge can help you move forward in any aspect of life. I think a mentor more of like an actual coach in a sense that they're in a willing capacity to help you expand and increase your knowledge in a certain area. Now that's more like a formal definition, but I made that up on the fly. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
That's pretty good.
Okay, I need to write it down. I'll go back and listen to the show.
Willing capacity.
Yeah, they're acting in a willing capacity. So this is not necessarily someone who you're just stealing knowledge from, right? Because a lot of people say surround yourself with people who have succeeded in what you want to succeed. Well, that's fine, but you don't always receive the knowledge or the insight that you're looking for that way, because it's hard to steal and glean that just from cursory interaction with a person, right? It has to be purposeful.
Yeah, and everybody's different, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like back in my hairdresser days, like occasionally there would be a client that would come in that, really was just scraping by and managed to, whip up their $100 for their color and cut for the month or every couple of months. And out of their mouths would come just this nugget of wisdom. Like, I think we have to be on the lookout for mentorship or wisdom everywhere.
Absolutely.
Right? Not just from who we think it can come from. Like, I think as an open human being, as I think you and I are, and many, 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 many millions of people on the planet, with a sort of a growth mindset, it's important to not get so fancy pants about yourself that you think you can't learn from or be mentored by a gift of just a moment. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And that's okay. So those are what I like to call like teachable or learnable moments, right? Now, Yeah, those are moments of observation, being aware, being present, and being open-minded. And some of the biggest moments for me have come that way. You know, I used to always have like mom was full of stuff like that, but I never paid attention for a long time. And one time she said, you know, why don't you practice being kind, not right? And I was like,
wow.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
From our mother?
Yeah, I'm sure she read it somewhere, you know, and she was pontificating on that, like thinking about how does that apply? I'm going to use it on my son. Waiting for the moment to spring it on me. She said something else too. She was reading something. It was, and so our mother was probably one of the most well-read people I've ever met. She read volumes of all sorts of books, nonfiction, fiction, romance, not you name it. She read it, and but she said something one time about she had read a quote and she liked it, and she read it to me and said, "Don't die with your music in you."
Nice.
Yeah, and I that one I don't think is attributed to anyone.
Do you remember the story about the conversation that I had with her a few months before she died? I don't know if you remember that.
I recall hearing it, but I don't remember the story.
Well, this is sort of a mentorship for me about end of life stuff, like to not even judge that. So I called her up. I was kind of whining and complaining about I had just made a move and the person wasn't even moved out yet, and this was happening and that was happening. And I was just being kind of whiny, right? Which, you know, I can do every now and again, especially if I'm exhausted or overwhelmed, right? And mom just stopped me in my tracks, and she was like, "You want to know what my life is like? I lay here in bed and I cough, and then things happen, and then I have to get up and I change my clothes, and then I get back in bed, and then I do it all over again." And it was like dead silence for me on the other end of the phone. And I finally said to her, "Are you tired?" And she said, "Yes, I am." And then I said, "Are you ready to go?" And she said, "Yes, I am." And it was so, it sounds awful. It was so deeply meaningful and beautiful moment for me. And it kind of shook me to my core of like, get over yourself. You're standing, you're not coughing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're not in the hospital. Like, get over it, you know? So anyway, like, she was packed full of wisdom.
She was, you know, and anyway, she was just a very interesting person. I wish I'd sat down and talked to her more. I did a lot, I mean, but I wish I'd taken more opportunities to speak and listen to her. But anyway.
I know, we can always go back to those regrets, isn't that right?
Yeah. You're not gonna make me tear up, are you? All right, we need to.
I might. Maybe she'll come and pinch you on the behind soon.
You never know, or slap me on the head, knock it off, grab me by the ear. Okay, if you see the headphones fly off and somebody pulling my ear, you know, like me leaning to one side, you'll know what it was.
Or if you wake up with a red welt on the back of your leg, you'll know who's been visiting.
Exactly. So
I think I said to somebody yesterday, I really miss her still every day. Like,
I do too. I really do. I think about her. There's not a single day goes by I don't think about her.
Yeah.
But you know, and
exactly.
So the word mentor is really kind of broad spectrum, right? It's not It's not something as specific as what I stated, but it's also, you know, it's not some esoteric, you know, mythological creature who's going to, again, change your life by giving you 4 nuggets of wisdom. It doesn't work that way. But
and there are those.
There are.
That, right?
Well, there are. You know,
like I heard a story today, which was like this miracle story, but that's the rare case.
It was funny. I mentioned it last night to someone. I was watching a movie called Holly's Game. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's about a former skier. She was trying to make the Olympic trials team in freestyle, and she and so they throw out those little pine the little pine tips, you know, from the pine tree. So when the weather's bad, they have depth of field before they hit the ramp, and they do their tricks, and then hit the next set of moguls. So she hits the first one, and when she gets to the second one, one of those little I forgot what they call them, those pine needles things, had frozen in the snow, and it breaks her. It hits it freakily, just a freak accident. It actually breaks her binding from the ski, and she goes over the ramp with one ski on. And previous in her life, she had her father was a psychiatrist, and she had back surgery when she was little. Her back hurt, and her father said, keep going. What do we do? If we're tired, that makes you a quitter. She's like 9 or something like that. So she ended up having back surgery and all this metal placed in her back and fused her spine. But this is like 8 years later. And so she lands and basically loses her chance. I mean, it messes her up. She lands on her back. And so 12 years later, she's running this game, and she was running a poker game, high stakes poker game. And while she's during the trial, her father shows up and randomly. And anyway, he goes, he's a really high-priced therapist, right? He goes, I'm going to give you 3 years of therapy in 3 minutes. He goes, basically what every client ever wants every therapist to do, which is to give you the answers. And I was like, whoa, yes, I need to find that guy.
Yeah, give it to me now.
I need to find that guy.
Give it to me now.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't paying, right? So he could do the Fast and Furious for her. But
sure. Yeah, exactly.
But there are those people, right? And you don't.
What are the 3 things?
Well, one was, why was she? Why did she act that way? Why did she do what she did? Why did she start a high stakes poker game when she was going to go to law school? Right? She could have been successful at anything.
Okay.
And it was about controlling successful men, right? And then the second one was, I don't remember. The third one was, why was he so hard on her, harder than he was on the boys? And it was because she knew something about him when she was a child. She saw him in a car with another woman. Anyway, he knew that she knew, and he was embarrassed and ashamed.
Oh.
And so he in certain ways, he didn't know better. He took it out on her that way. So it's just a really great. It's a very good movie, actually. It's kind of clinical in style.
Have to watch it.
It's good. It's called Molly's Game. I think it's been out for a couple of years or a year or so, but maybe a year. So I was watching that, and I was like, yeah, there's people that come along that you have either a brief encounter with or a long encounter with, but they just give you those few nuggets that you take away forever. And
right,
there are a couple people in my you and I both love a life coach named David Nagel. Right. And it's Neagle. He has a ton of free stuff out there. What I like about him is he's kind of this blue collar, brash guy who makes you own your crap. Right. Mm-hmm. He calls you on your BS, kind of slaps you in the forehead and says, stop crying and just take care of your business. He's the one that taught me a couple things. Right. And all of this this is all with a grain of salt and with direction, but massive action beats planning every single time. Right. Every single time. Now, massive action with no plan and no direction is just asinine, but within context, that's true. And then also know your worth and don't be afraid to ask it. And then he teaches you some tips and tricks on how to overcome asking for your value, right? But he was one that I went to that seminar in Florida, and I didn't know what to expect, and just coming away with those 2 things. Those 2 or 3 things that I really nuggets of wisdom, and all the other stuff, applying that to everything else that he's put out there, and taught. And also being able to identify your ideal client, especially when you do something like I do, where it's restaurant consulting. So those 3 things really changed my life, and I paid heftily for it, which it was well worth it, and I'm very glad I did. But that was, again, a very short-lived personal experience with him. And then there's guys like Tony Robbins, where there's just a broad spectrum of stuff. Every time I listen to him, I learn so much. And he's less of a coach and more of an intuitive, right? He just understands human behavior better than anyone else out there. So. Right. He sure does. He's unique. He is. Somebody asked me a question, and it kind of pissed me off, right? They're like, well, what do you think about all his stuff with his wife and blah? I said, well, he's a freaking human being, okay? So just because you're get a grip. Well, no. Well, my thing was, everybody screws up, right? Everybody. I don't care who you are. Everyone screws up. And we're assuming that it's screwed up. Maybe they chose this together. And they're still. I know that they still are. They're still best friends. They're still best friends. Work together, I think. They do work together. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And so I was just like, that's more of a that's a judgment issue, right? It's not whether or not that person has value in their area of expertise. That was judging them on some personal behavior, which didn't affect what he was doing anyway. And that was my thing. It did piss me. I didn't say that to the person. I was just like, oh, I'll tell you, through all the thick and thin he's been through, I've never not found a pertinent message in any piece of information he's put, anything he's ever put out there. So,
absolutely. Did you ever see the video where he takes the guy who was stuttering to completely not stuttering? That was amazing.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, food for thought.
I should put that. You know what? I'm going to put that link up there too. I know it's not really part of the Spoony website, but I'll put it up there as food for thought. Really, this guy had been studying for 20-something years, and he visits their home, and he takes them back, and he pinpoints the moment that man, as a boy, started stuttering, and it was all based on a cartoon.
Yep.
Wasn't
exactly.
it? Mm-hmm. It was a
and his family circumstances, and getting the attention, taking the attention away from his
mother,
the pain of the family, and
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty amazing, us human beings. Like, I'm eternally fascinated by how this brain, our conscious and subconscious, and the behaviors that we create and the patterns that we create and who we're born to be.
Well, you're gonna have to hold over now, because we're getting into some deep stuff now. Whoa. Can you hold over for 4 minutes?
All right. Okay.
Can you hang on? Okay, we'll be right back. Karen, hold on just a second. Patrick with Food Biz Pro. We'll be right back.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. California Congressman Eric Swalwell will be the first Democrat to drop out of the presidential race, set to make that announcement later this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern. Swalwell will announce a re-election bid for his congressional seat. Iran is now breaking the limit for uranium enrichment set by its 2015 nuclear deal with world powers. Correspondent John Gabriel reports, with a higher enrichment and a growing uranium stockpile, Iran could advance to nuclear weapon status in less than a year.
Nuclear nonproliferation experts say that those two things together can actually narrow the 1-year window that Iran has before it would have enough fissile material to potentially make a nuclear weapon.
Gabriel reports Iranian leaders could make changes if world powers support the 2015 nuclear deal.
One thing about the stockpile and the enrichment limits are they both can be easily brought back down, and that's what Iran is trying to show the West, that it can back down, go back to the deal if they get the terms that they want. But given the maximum pressure campaign that we're seeing from the United States right now, the deal really does look in jeopardy.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling on world powers to impose snapback sanctions on Iran. Also at townhall.com, at a news conference Saturday night, California Governor Gavin Newsom says the Mojave Desert earthquakes has Southern California on alert.
Folks in Los Angeles that I know aren't sleeping as well over a 2-night period. We all have an opportunity now to get more prepared, to be more vigilant, to look at our building codes, look at our home hardening, to look at that alert system.
The cleanup continues after those large back-to-back earthquakes in California rattled some remote desert communities late last week. There were no serious injuries. On Wall Street now, stocks remain in the red. The Dow is down 141 points. The Nasdaq down 73. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Phones are working for you okay in there? All right, good.
Host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can help you have more energy, and polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Go to lovemytummy.com/Spoony.
And welcome back, Spoony listener, Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. There you are, Karen. Are you back? Hello. Are you there, Karen? Oh, it helps if I unmute you one more time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Now I can. I just have to be smarter than the phone, that's all. Just smarter than the phone. Just slightly. All right.
Food for thought. No.
Yep, exactly.
Oh,
Food for thought. Yes, Patrick. So I'm messing with my microphone out, trying to get the angle right, because it was like, I don't know. I don't like when it points down at my mouth. I like it to point upwards for some reason. It's just, I don't know. It feels like I can move it to the right location. So we were just... kind
of makes sense.
Yeah, kind of. So for those people who are watching now, I got these cool like knife rails. These for my knives from the Kensheng Knife Company. So I have these really cool, like this is a sashimi knife, and it has a magnet inside the case. It's not supposed to hold it so it stays forever, but when you pick it up, then it doesn't just fall off like most cases do. It's a beautiful knife, by the way. I love that knife. It's my favorite one. But now I have a slicer and it's called a boning knife for removing stuff from the bone. So taking all the flesh off the bone. And so these, that one will stick. I just have to hold it at the right angle. But once that's mounted, basically, see, they stick like that. It's awesome. That goes against the wall. And then your knives, see, they're not sticking against metal. As most knife rails, it's magnetic. It holds them there. It's all good. What's up, Mike? He's looking at me, Mike's looking at me in the booth like, hey, dude.
No, that was actually a pretty cool little thing there.
Isn't it? Yeah, these are awesome. I can't wait to hang this up, and we'll...
I like that.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called a knife rail.
Knife rail.
Uh-huh.
I like it.
So it's magnetic inside. Most of them have magnets that are exposed on the outside, and it just has like two metal rails on the outside of the magnet, and it kind of sticks. So it doesn't actually stick to the magnet. It sticks against the rails, but the magnet holds it in place.
That's pretty cool.
The thing is, metal on metal is not good for your knife.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like when you see that teppanyaki chef, the guy on the Japanese guy on the griddle, the big grill, when they use their knives to cut against that steel plate, that 1-inch thick steel plate, it makes me cringe. Like I wince every time they cut stuff against them. I'm like, no, dude, no. You spend hours a day sharpening those knives all because you do this for a living. But it makes it fun. It makes it, somebody's got to make a living sharpening knives, right? So I don't want to take that guy's job away. Keep on ruining your knives. Keep on doing the teppanyaki stuff, guys. Keep on doing it. Anyway, I like those knife rails. They're really pretty. And I can't wait to hang them up. Show off my new knives. Isn't that weird? I'm like a kid at Christmas. I'm like, I have knives. So let's see. What were we talking about? I don't remember. Family.
Which brings us back to the terrible knives that I had when you would come and visit.
Yeah, you have one or two good ones now, though. You have some good ones.
Oh yeah, I've got good ones now. But when you were young, you were like, "What is this crap? Come on, really? These are knives? These aren't knives." I was pretty snooty then too. The thing is, you were as the people that run Culinary Fight Club, which I went, and I wouldn't say I failed, but I didn't win on that particular challenge. Okay. It was fun though. We paired a bite, sip and a bite, basically, and okay, it was really fun. But their motto is that a real chef should be able to cook anywhere, anytime, with any utensils available. Right, and that's true for the most part. I mean, but I've done a lot of in-home cooking classes. And I basically I don't take any pots and pans because I want to do things the way that they would have to do them in their kitchen.
and teach them how to use what they have. However, if it's a sushi class, I always take a pot to do the sushi in, because you just never know. If they only have like these thin aluminum things and the rice burns, it takes long enough to make it anyway.
Yeah,
That you don't want to. Yeah,
okay.
you don't want to get stuck.
Yeah.
So back to mentorship. Today's lesson.
Okay.
Where'd we
Today's
leave
lesson.
off? We were talking about David Nagel. We talked about
Brain science, human beings.
Yeah. So
how we operate.
I want
patterns, all that good stuff.
Well, we can talk all we want on mentorship, right? I think the importance is if you have people around you who have achieved a level of success, it doesn't have to be in exactly what you want to do, or have been successful. So success is anything, whether it's family, business, just relationships, whatever it happens to be. As a parent, having a good mentor as a parent is imperative, I think, because there's no freaking guidebook when the child's born. I'm telling you. As many parenting books as you may read, having someone to firsthand teach you or explain to you what does and doesn't work, and maybe give you some ideas on behavioral patterns of children and how to cope with that, I think that's really a good thing to look for if you have children, or you're going to have children. They're not too old to help, like I am.
Well, I used to whine and say, I don't understand why children don't come with a guidebook. I love that you said that.
I'm with you. Are you kidding me?
How am I supposed to know how to do this? How am I supposed to know how to do this?
Whatever, Mom. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Exactly. And then just remember, teenagers are aliens. That's what I tell people. Like, stop thinking rational. Teenagers are aliens. Good ones, but, aliens nevertheless.
Yeah,
No?
you know what they are. No, I was just I was thinking, they are. Was it men are from women are from Venus, men are from Mars, or whatever direction that goes.
Yeah.
I think children are like from, another galaxy. Their teenage years are just so unpredictable, right? And
exactly.
I don't understand how children go so quickly from the age of like 15 to 21. They know everything in the world, and all of a sudden they turn and go, "Oh, really? Oh, I never heard you say that. That's cool."
They do? No, I'm just kidding. That usually doesn't happen until they're like 30.
30,
But,
maybe 40.
With having said that, like hormones, honey.
That's
how.
Somebody asked me if I was an Eagle Scout, and I said no. Carfume and perfume kicked in, and I didn't go to Scouts anymore. but you're right.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Hormones. That's why.
I have a friend who's so here's a trick for parenting. If your son is in or I guess daughter now is in Boy Scouts, when I'm not going to go down that path and talk about that too much, my distaste for that. But if your child is in Boy Scouts, then I have a lot of friends who actually their child could not get their driver's license if they made it through a certain stage of Boy Scouts. They couldn't get their driver's license until they got their Eagle Scout. I thought that was brilliant. Because you hit 16 and you're like, oh, I want to drive. I want to go to that party. I want to go see my friends. I want to go to movies. I want to pick up my girl and go, Okay, that's a real incentive to finish what you need to finish. Because so many young men drop out about that 14, 15, 16, 17 age and never finish. But Damon finished. He finished. He turned in everything on his 18th birthday, which was his last day.
That's great. Leave it to Damon.
Well, our troop disbanded, and then there was another one that just wasn't very aggressive in helping him get where he wanted to go, and so he finally just did it on his own. I said, "Well, there's the troop," and he goes, "Okay, I know a couple kids there," and he did it on his own. I'm really proud of him. He did a good job.
Well, I love that.
Mm-hmm. It was a big deal. He was so close.
Did you know that John also became an Eagle Scout?
He did. Johnny did. Yep, our nephew John.
Yeah.
He just turned 23, 22?
24, I think.
24? Yeah,
Alex is going to turn 21. So.
I know, and Damon will be, 8 or 10 weeks behind him, or less than that. Damon's 6 weeks behind him.
All right, so he's going to be 21?
Yeah, August 15th.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Uh-huh.
And your kids are so amazing.
I have to say, everybody goes to, and you're around your kids for like 24/7 for about a month, and you're going crazy. You're like, oh my God, my kids are driving me nuts. You're pulling your hair out, I'm not around them very much anymore. But then you go and you take your children to somebody else's house, and then you watch the other little natives run around like maniacs, kicking stuff and pulling hair and biting people and whatever happens to be their tantrum of the day, right? And you go back, you get home, and you tell your kids, I love you so much. You're the best children ever. Oh my God, I'm so happy that I'm blessed with you. That's
so
all
happy you're mine.
That's all I could
right?
think of. I probably didn't tell them that very often, but I thought it a lot. So now
it's on the radio, so there's proof.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I talk about, I brag about them all the time. They're wonderful kids. I'm really happy to have them.
That was a joke.
I know.
It's not too late.
So Rich Frankel said, particularly as a musician, he says, I love that. Don't die with your music in you. So your music, though, could be anything. If whatever your magic is, whatever you want to do for the world, whatever talent you have, don't hide it, right? Unless it's illegal, then hide it. Just saying.
If that's your magic music, then go ahead and hide it, right?
Exactly. So let's get a little bit into brain science, right? Look, finding a mentor is one thing. There are places to find them. There are all sorts of organizations to find them. Really hanging out and doing club activities or groups, joining groups of like-minded people is a great way to find mentors and people you can just learn from in any capacity. I think if you're as youth, coaches, teachers, things like that. I think a lot of our youth undervalue their teachers and the wisdom they can gain from them and the friendships that you can actually have. Rose Maher was my German teacher, and without her, I would never have gone to explore Germany and had gotten the wanderlust that took me all over the world. So I want to thank her for being not just a great teacher, but mentor and friend. I haven't seen her in about 30 years, but thank you anyway, Rose. 35 years maybe. Yeah. But brain science. You talk about personality typing, brain science, and all that we are as human beings. And so, tell me what you're talking about specifically, and what kind of floats your boat on that.
Well, so I'm a big fan of Bruce Lipton.
Yes.
And he wrote a book called The Biology of Belief, and you can watch his videos. They're absolutely fantastic. He simplifies things. And what I love about it is he's a scientist. So I love things that are both esoteric or spiritually oriented, and also there's some science that actually follows up with it, So he talks about how until around 7 years old, we are in what's called the theta state, and so we're just gathering information from our environment everywhere we go. It's how do we behave, what do we look like, what's safe, what's not safe. And then, this is the short version, right? Mm-hmm. And then at around 7 years old, we develop what we would call our personality, or to me, it's like our patterns. Mm-hmm. Like now I know how to stay safe, but we're not consciously thinking that. Mm-mm. It's actually all that got downloaded into wherever the subconscious lives, and it kind of then is running the show. So we're basically a bunch of 7-year-olds running around, and we don't know it. Because without knowing this brain science, we are just running our patterns like a computer would, right?
Yeah, and
which is why we have to have right? Go ahead.
No. What's it? Tony Robbins puts it a different way, and so does David Nichols says exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. But they say basically you learn everything you know about love, money, and relationships between the ages of 2 and 7. 90% of what you know and believe, whether you believe it or not. You are programmed to that between the ages of 2 and 7. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Same thing. Mm-hmm. So we have to reprogram ourselves, right?
So how do we do that?
Isn't mentoring like the most amazing thing? Because often a mentor will just be like a shocking moment that is a question that you never thought you'd have to answer. Or, coaching is really around asking questions, right? So that you can kind of unearth for yourself with this witness and with this guide to know, like, what's really ruling the show around what? Money, relationships, and what's the third one, Patrick?
Well, it's money, relationships, and love.
And love,
mm-hmm.
Okay. So even loving yourself, like, for instance, if you've been told your whole life you're no good, you're probably going to not love yourself very well. Or if you've been told that you're a star, but you don't really want to be a star, and or you're not living up to it, then you're going to be like, oh, I'm not good enough, or all the things that sort of and then that run through us, and then the patterns sort of get developed from that. Well, let me just not do as well in school as I could, or there's all kinds of things, right?
Yeah, money doesn't grow on trees, right? So now we believe for the rest of our lives that money is
Right.
difficult to attain, and
Right.
so yeah,
Exactly.
I get it. So
Yeah.
so then,
So I don't know. I think, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, keep
I
going.
want to let you finish because
No,
you're onto something
no,
good.
it's just like, yeah, well, we have this this part of us that's running the show, which we need. So it's not like a bad thing, but if we don't interrupt it and teach it something new, it will keep living out the same old story over and over and over and over again. And as you always say, how do you put it? Like, who's the
J
the common
curve?
denominator here?
Oh, so
Say it again.
Okay, so when people
Right.
start saying, they have this repetitive behavior, and we have a family member, and I said this
Or
to him.
experience.
Yes, and so, and I had to look at myself one time, and so basically, you say that you get fired from job after job after job after job, but every time it's, well, my boss was a jerk, or I don't know why he expected me to do that, or God, it was unbearable, the situation. Okay, but and I said, I asked a family member, and I had to ask myself and my best friend at one time. I said, what is the only common denominator between all of those situations over 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or 50 years? And like, what do you mean? I said, who is the only person that was there every single time? And they said, me. I said, okay, do you think maybe you're the problem? Maybe something that is ingrained in you, some sort of behavioral pattern or some sort of disbelief in
Right.
others, right? Or resentment towards others.
Right.
Maybe that is the cause of what's wrong. And it's shocking when people hear that because they don't like it, but it tends to be a good catalyst, right? So.
Yeah, and so what happens is the brain is actually likes what's familiar, right? And so
Oh, yeah.
to break out of that pattern, the brain is going like, or the brain, it's not the matter of the brain.
Yeah,
but
it's the
whatever
unconscious mind,
subconscious
actually.
and right, exactly. And so it's saying like, well, even though this is suffering, it doesn't recognize it as suffering because it's a pattern that's been run for so many times for so long that it feels like this is how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
And then we try to break out of that, and we can't because it feels so uncomfortable, and the brain is throwing up all these red flags, and we don't consciously understand it. And so that's why we need mentors and coaches and teachers and all that stuff. So
No, it's great. I mean, because honestly, and that's a really good point. That was another thing that I learned through. It was actually David Nagel, right? And folks, I would highly recommend going out and just listen to all the free stuff by him. And I don't care if you like Tony Robbins or not, but he's a very amazing and incredible person who understands human behavior really better than anyone else. Seriously, he's interacted with more individuals than any other person in the history of mankind. Several million individuals he's personally interacted with. So, but they both said the same thing. It's that the the unconscious mind does not like change. As a matter of fact, it likes change so little, or it hates it so much, that until the fear of your current situation is of living in your current situation is greater than the fear of the unknown, you'll never change. Now, you can override that by having a certain drive, right, or inspiration for it, and a purpose in getting, but that's where these mentors and even books can be very insightful. The book You're a Badass is a great book to get you. You want to just read a book to get you jump started. It's an easy read. There's a great chapter in there that a dear friend of mine had open to. They hadn't read through it yet. They had stopped on that page. It was interesting. They stopped on that page. I thought about that, but it was the next chapter was like, choose happiness or being right. And I was like, oh, man, that applies to me. I was like, how many times have I had to be right instead of choosing the path of less resistance and happiness, and just kind of, just going with the flow a little bit instead of having to control the situation.
My first mentor used to say, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, give up being right or perfect.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And
so,
then the other thing that I always say to people is when you get sick enough of yourself, you'll change. Like that's what it takes. You have to get so sick of yourself, right?
You do. You do. So let's talk. We get, my next segment's still going to come after this. You can stay if you want. I know you may have things to do. That's your choice. But real quick, let's talk about your history and how you transitioned. Because as long as I knew, since I was probably 4 or 5 when you went to, a trade school to become a hairstylist, a beautician, and you did a fantastic job over there. You built up your resume. You opened your own shops, and you were very successful. Had odd business partners at the time, but very successful, and one of the most expensive salons wherever you worked, and you had clientele from all over the world in Saratoga. And then you went, you had an experience where you went to overseas, right? To work in a different sector of that didn't involve cutting hair at all, but it was still related to your business. And how did that start, and how did you transition into being a coach?
Well, so, the very short version is that this was like the prompt. I kept saying to one of my suppliers, because I own the salon, so I had a lot of interaction with all the different suppliers and dealers. And I would say to him, this one particular guy, I know that we can do better. We can do more. Find me that information. Get me the people to teach me this. So he comes in one day, and he's all full of himself, and he's like, you are going to love me. There's a pilot program coming to the United States for an organization called 365, and you are going to be part of the pilot program, and it's all about customer service and team building. And that was the biggest mentor for me. I was so enthralled. It was such amazing information. Our salon went from being good to brilliant. We served cookies on with our china cups, and it wasn't false, creepy, formal, but it was all about asking questions to the clients, not talking about ourselves, actually sitting down and having consultations. And so that kind of sparked my desire for coaching. I didn't know it at the time. I got picked to be one of the people that worked with them. I got to go to Europe and get training and from them, and worked with one of the movie stars they had over there, who came and trained with us. And it was just such a great experience, and it really changed who I was. So being part of that and being picked to be one of the teachers for them really became sort of my mentor. You know what I mean? It wasn't an individual. It was lots of different people. And that sort of led me on this path to discover over the next, 10 years after that or whatever it was, to become a coach. And that was my next most amazing experience. And I had learned a million things in between there, but so I'm so passionate because I can bring all of the things that I learned along the way into my coaching.
Well,
that
you've
was
had.
a mouthful, wasn't it?
No, that's good. When you think about it, though, both of us have had a very extensive and broad background. I've worked in every sector of the food service. I've been a dishwasher. I've been a private chef. I've been a corporate chef. I won $38 million in food service at Universal Studios. I've worked in places where your food cost had to be 18%, and I've worked for billionaires where I could buy anything I wanted all around the world, have it flown in overnight for a dinner party for 2. So, and in between that, tried to get out of the business 57 times. And have done almost everything in between. Always do. And what does it say? Every time I try to get out, they suck me back in. Isn't that from The Godfather? But it in a good way, because I'm really good at what I do, and you're really good at what you do. I think we gravitate towards that. And part of that is learning. This is the one thing I like about the food service industry is there is nothing, food and beverage industry, not just food service, is you never stop learning.
Right.
It's an unending wealth of knowledge and experiences, and very much so with coaching and what you do as well. It really is never ending.
Yeah.
And how often do we end up as when you're coaching? You brought this up before. A lot of times what you end up talking about with your clients is really what you're working on in your own life. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Of course. Right? Always.
Well,
right? The mirror.
Well, it's apparent, and then it's also obviously easy to talk about. But all right, well, I have one more segment left. I have a 25-minute segment. You're welcome to stay.
I do.
Or I can.
I do have to go. Unfortunately, I've got people waiting for me. So, but thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome.
And always a pleasure. Okay.
Well, Karen, if you want, I can I can cut this out, and I can send you the actual audio without the break in the middle if you want me to. So you can post it. It'd be fun.
Sure. Why not?
All right.
That'd
Love you.
be great.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Okay. Love you too.
Bye, Kevin. Thanks for
Bye.
loaning her to me. Bye-bye. All right. Again, my my lovely sister, Karen Mosher Carey. She's hilarious. And yeah, we don't have a lot of family secrets between us, so it's always fun to talk to her. Anyway, wow. That was the meat of the matter, the main course. Not a lot of food talk in there, but a lot of words of wisdom and food for thought. So hang tight. I'll be right back in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter at Food Biz Pro.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
And welcome back, Spoony listeners. Chef Patrick Mosher here, the Food Biz Pro. Wow, I just went to LinkedIn. If you missed the last segment, actually, I was on the air with my sister, Karen Mosher Carey. We were talking brain science, life coaching, a little food, family, and silly stories. Anyway, check her out. She's at Karen Mosher Carey on Facebook, and she used to be at Ruby Red Road. See, rubyredroad.com. But I think they've changed the name of their program. I forgot now, but I will get that and post it. In the meantime, though, I went to LinkedIn, and Anthony Serrano, brilliant chef out of, Chandler, Arizona, which y'all know, I went to high school there. Man, he's got this new, he's a brand ambassador for this awesome new, these amazing, it's called the Beefer. Yes, the Beefer, Befer. Check it out. I believe they're made in England, but this is a broiler, basically, that can broil like a monster 4, 5, 6 pound steak in there. It's freaking awesome. He's broiling on there. Anthony Serrano, Chef Anthony Serrano, he broiled a A5 Japanese Wagyu ribeye, so that's real Japanese beef. A5 is the highest grade of fat content and richness you can find in a steak. He grilled it at 1,500 degrees and then just finished it off with a little Spiceology flaked salt. So, man, that's good looking stuff. Here, I'm gonna let y'all see what that thing looks like right there. It's beef. It's what's for dinner, man. Anthony Serrano's a badass. He won. I don't know if it was a recipe or sandwich. category of the World Food Championship a few years ago. But check this thing out, man. This thing's look, it comes out that's at 1,500 degrees. That's a damn steak right there. Not that 6-ounce or 5-ounce little filet you get somewhere for $60 a la carte. That is beef, baby. Trey Chapman would be proud. Oop, there we go. Thanks. Oh, you switch back for me. Thanks. Mike's a good guy, man. He's like, dude, you're going to break your arm holding out there like that. Put it out in front of you. Anyway, I'm going to unlink that up. Anthony Serrano is such a cool guy. I'm going to put that up. And the beefer, I know that he's a brand ambassador. I also think that that Bo Jackson is a brand ambassador for them as well. But, that's not official. I'm just putting that out there. So let's see. What else did I see today? There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Oh, it is actually National Chocolate with Almonds Day. Did you know that? I just went while my sister was yapping along and I was listening. A guest came in from a former place of employment for many of the people here, and she's sitting on, I think, for Sam Sobor today. And anyway, she's now a full-time minister, and she was saying, by the way, did you know it is National Chocolate with Almonds Day? And I said, no, thank you, and your lovely husband, Keith, for reminding me, because I did not know that. I did not go to the national day calendar. But today, July 8th, is in fact National Chocolate with Almonds Day. I think you just need to make almond bark today. That's it. Chocolate almond bark, super simple. Oh, you know what? Here's something cool. You could do chocolate popcorn almond. What is it? Almond popcorn chocolate bark. That would be good. So basically take your popcorn, take your toasted almonds, slivered or unslivered, I don't care. Melt your chocolate, get it to the right temperature, which is 93 to 98 or 102, whatever it happens to be. And then you temper the chocolate. So you seed it. Well, it's melted. You put shredded, or grated, or diced up, finely chopped up chocolate back in there. And as you do that, then it teaches the chocolate how to harden again and gets brittle. But just so you know, this is why it's important. The health benefits of almonds are they can reduce the risk of heart attack, lower bad cholesterol. That's the LDL, right? The low density lipoprotein. Protects artery walls from damage. Help build healthy bones and teeth, provide healthy fats, and aid in weight loss. A lot of calories, though. Lower the rise in blood sugar and insulin after meals. That's true. Help provide good brain function, nourish the nervous system, and alkalize the body. But you know what else is really good for you? Is wild rice. And as a matter of fact, if you want some really good wild rice, go to SpoonyWildRice.com. That is the Nostalgia Wild Rice webpage. They have all sorts of great stuff. I could talk you through everything on their website. It would take me 4 days, though. They have that many amazing products. And right now, they actually, unfortunately, I won't go into the details, but they closed down their long-standing storefronts. But it's only online now, and I can guarantee you there are some really good specials going on. That is, go to SpoonyWildRice.com. That's SpoonyWildRice.com. Jay and Lori are our good friends up there in Minnesota, and we wish them a lot of love, and we send them a lot of love and all the luck in the world in continuing this business, because I'm telling you, they were one of our first sponsors and long time believers in Doc, and they stuck with him through thick and thin over many years and followed us over to this platform. So thank you very much, and we want to thank you. Go check it out. That's SpoonyWildRice.com. So, basically take that popcorn. And you're back to the story. That popcorn and almonds, just spread that out on a baking sheet. I would actually put a piece of paper down under it, put a piece of parchment paper down, or Silpat. Silpat, those wonderful, cool, flexible, bakeable, nonstick silicone mats. They're the best, by the way. But and then just pour your chocolate over the top of your popcorn and your almonds. Let it harden at room temperature, and then when it's done, just break it up into chunks. Yum. That sounds so good. I'll post a recipe here in a minute as we move forward, but let's see. What other stuff is in food news today? Today is also something besides that. It is, I thought that was something to do with bacon today. No, nothing with bacon today? How could I have missed? What was yesterday then? Let's go back to yesterday, today, tomorrow. What was yesterday? I want to know, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is National Sugar Cookie Day. So basically, for those of you that like snickerdoodles, it's National Snickerdoodle Day tomorrow, as long as you sprinkle some cinnamon on top. I never could figure out why snickerdoodles are called something different than simply a at the Anthony Serrano, by the way. Anthony, is it Chef Anthony Serrano? Where is Anthony Serrano on here? I'll find him later. That's why A-R-A. There we go. Anthony Serrano. Chef Anthony Serrano. How about 2 R's? Maybe? I don't know. Why can't I not spell anybody's name right? You'd think for a guy who speaks multiple languages, I could spell better. Anyway, so yeah, you need to check out that thing. That beefer thing is like the coolest broiler ever. Very, very, very cool. Check it out. Anthony Serrano, Chef Anthony Serrano. Go to, well, you can go on Facebook at Anthony Serrano, or you can just go to, let's try Chef Anthony Serrano. Chef Anthony. Maybe it's Celebrity Chef Anthony Serrano. He is, by the way. There we go. All right. So check it out. The beefer. It's very cool. I'll post that video in a little bit. Let's see. What other kind of weird food news? Oh, I was going to talk about the 30 best summer foods for weight loss, right? And why are all these the best? I don't know. But we'll start at number 30. Let's go all the way down. Let's see. Number 1 is pineapple. Well, I like pineapple. I like it because it's really cool and crisp. I'm telling you, man, nice cold pineapple on a hot summer's day, especially if you're at the beach. Oh, pineapple. Or, there's something about plums because they're not super sweet. They're kind of tart, sweet, something like that. It's kind of the same thing, but they contain bromelain, an anti-inflammatory enzyme that helps break down proteins in your stomach that usually cause bloat. Interesting. Papaya is really good for digestion. I'll bet papaya comes up in here. What do you think? It has this. It has an enzyme in there called papain, which is good for digestion. Let's see. Mint leaves. Mint leaves come in at number 29. Mint snags a spot on our list of favorite herbs thanks to their ability to soothe an upset stomach as effectively as kicks seasonal allergies to the curb. Oh, I didn't know that. And the benefits don't end there. At Newcastle University, researchers found that Brazilian mint tea is just as potent at treating headaches and indomethacin, a prescription drug given to those who suffer from migraines and severe headaches. Wow. So I get really bad headaches. I'm going to try some. I wonder what Brazilian mint tea is. I'll have to try that. Anybody know what Brazilian mint tea is? Let me know. Spinach. This leafy green subtle taste is practically undetectable in breakfast shakes and smoothies, so go ahead and toss a handful into some of the smoothies for weight loss and for added nutrients. Spinach is really good. It's full of vitamin A, C. Man, it's got heart protective folate. What else? Lots of stuff. It's good for you. A little bit of fiber in there, too. All right, coming in at 27, cinnamon. Cinnamon, actually. So cinnamon, I think, is something way underrated. It's a magical spice. It really is. Magical, I tell you. And why? Cinnamon is one of the most effective things that you can ingest on a daily basis to help control your blood sugar. It's amazing. You can actually put it in your coffee. You can put it in whatever you want to. But I think it's about a half a teaspoon a day is the equivalent of what you need. But it also has cinnamaldehyde, which is an essential oil found in cinnamon that helps prevent obesity and hyperglycemia by frying out your fat cells. So it not only helps you to burn fat, but it also is really good at controlling blood sugar. Cucumbers are also very good for that, by the way. And something that looks like a cucumber but not, I think it's called bitter melon. It looks like a long English cucumber but kind of knobby looking. It's got all these cracks and crevices in it. It's very, very, very effective. You can make a tea from that. So if you're borderline diabetic or you are diabetic, that's a good after dinner drink to have, as well as maybe a little bit of cinnamon, extra cinnamon and everything. So maybe that cinnamon toast you used to have in the morning wasn't such a bad idea, you know? I used to love cinnamon toast. All right, back to number 26. Number 26 on the list is pomegranate. Yes, This superfood is packed with free radical-fighting polyphenols, just like this little box here of Atrantil. LoveMyTummy.com. Polyphenols, they're a class of antioxidants that they're shown to not just shrink fat cells, but they also they have a solid dose of gut-regulating fiber, all right, to keep you full and tame stubborn cravings at the same time. But polyphenols, they're really important to overall gut health. And as you know, we've been talking about this on the show, as well as on the Gut Check Project with Dr. Brown and Eric Rieger. Gut health is really imperative to overall body and mental wellness. So eat your polyphenols, right? Beans. I wonder if they're talking about dried beans. Okay, so you may have stocked up on black, pinto, and red beans for the crockpot chilies this last winter, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't toss beans into your cart once warmer weather approaches. Keep the fiber-rich legume in your diet by tossing cooked beans with cilantro, lime, salt, and cumin for a light lunch. Ooh, so that sounds like what I do when I used to come home after a long 20-plus hour day, and I really didn't want to eat any of the food from a restaurant where I was employed, or even if I owned it. I really just didn't want to have anything to do with the food of the restaurants I was employed with. So I'd get home at like I would get home at like midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, depending on what day of the week it was, and I would just take a can of black beans, squeeze in some, drain them, rinse them, little lime juice or lemon juice, chopped garlic, cilantro or parsley, whichever I had, chopped up finely, a little bit of olive oil, and then typically cumin, a little chili powder, and that's pretty much it. Salt and pepper. Maybe some avocado and diced tomato if I had tomato around. Now, if you're really hungry and you want to make it like more of a lunch than just a snack, then you can put a fried egg or poached egg or something on top of there. And actually, that's kind of good because it kind of makes a thicker sauce. You can, especially if you do a poached egg, kind of cut it open on top of there and put it in that salad. It's yummy. All right. Let's see. Where are we at? That was 26 or 25. Let's see. That was 25. Number 26. Greek yogurt. Digging into okay, it won't just help you cool down. It will also populate your gut with probiotics to help you stay slim and regular. That's true. But, for even better, there are these things called spored. I think they're called spored probiotics. So they're probiotics that actually are encapsulated. And this is a trick that bad bacteria actually use to get into your gut. They're encapsulated in this spore, this hard shell. And as they work their way through the stomach, the gut, then when they get to the small intestine, they have awoken by that time, and that's where these really bad bacteria and or organisms can thrive. Well, they've found a way to encapsulate probiotics in the same manner. What happens with probiotics is a lot of them die during the digestive process, right? You consume them, they hit the gut. The stomach, they're killed either in the acid or in the small intestine rather, and that travel time kills them. Stomach acid is really hard on them. Most of them don't survive, and so this encapsulated type is pretty good. Now Greek yogurt, I love Greek yogurt. I don't know if it's made any difference in my gut health, but I will continue to eat it. Overall, though, my favorite yogurt is Noosa, Noosa. Oh, my God, it's expensive but tasty. Steel-cut oats come in at number 23. Let's see. Steel-cut oats are one of my favorite. They take a long time to cook, but they're just good. They're a source of fiber, vitamin B, vitamin E, and it's just it takes. They're less processed. They're not rolled like the other ones. They're not boiled or pre-boiled already, and you get more fiber per gram. And that slows down your digestive system, so that's always good. Plus, who couldn't use more fiber? Huh? The average age of our listener, we all need more fiber. My listeners, anyway. Number 22 is artichokes. Oh, yum! Their one medium artichoke packs 7 grams of tummy-tightening fiber, and luckily enough, this veggie is versatile as it is delicious. You can marinate and chop artichokes hearts. You can toss them over a salad, fold them into veggie omelet, or you can boil them whole and drizzle with lemon juice for a quick, satisfying snack. Or like I used to do, you can eat them like popcorn. Like instead of making popcorn when you watch a movie at home, next time you watch Netflix and chill, just chill with a really good toasty giant artichoke from California. So, yeah, once you steam them, or I used to actually boil them in an artichoke boil. So it was whole peppercorns, water, lemons cut in half, a couple of other things, and a little bit of salt, but not too much stuff. Mostly the lemons, the peppercorn, and salt. And then you can throw in some herbs if you want. I usually put rosemary in there, whole sticks of rosemary. Just chop them off your bush out front, rinse it off, throw it in the pot. But once they're done, and the way you can tell if they're done is by checking if the stem is fork tender, or you can poke up above the stem where the base is, where the leaves all come together at the bottom. Just poke your knife through there and see if you can push into the middle of the artichoke. If it is, it's done. Then take them out, let them cool, and then you can scrape the choke out before. I always take it out before, but you can take it out after if you want to. But then I just eat them with mayonnaise with chili powder mixed in with a little bit of lemon juice, so it kind of makes like a lighter dressing. It's fantastic. If you don't like mayonnaise, fine, then find your favorite vinaigrette and use that. But anything citrusy is really good, like a lime apple honey vinaigrette would be really good. Anything just plain lime, citrus, lemon, not too sweet, not too much orange in there, although that would go good. Orange zest and artichoke. I think I got to try something new. All right, that's number 22, artichokes. Number 21 is hummus. Yes, chickpeas are really high in fiber, protein. They have a lot of vitamins in them actually too. You can blend it with heart healthy tahini, which is basically a sesame seed paste and some lemon juice, and you got yourself that's pretty much it. Chickpeas, tahini, lemon juice, puree that thing up, add some olive oil to it, and that is basically your recipe for hummus. It's really easy. And then, it's really good actually to have all sorts of good veggies with those. I like it better than pita chips. I like it on carrot sticks, radishes. It's not my favorite on bell peppers, although I'll eat that. But celery, I love celery. Some people hate it. One of my favorites. All right. Next, we'll go through a couple more. Chicken kebabs. All right. I like kebabs. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Lobster. What? Lobster? Woohoo! I like that. A 1 pound lobster packs just 260 calories. Wow, I didn't know that. But contains more than 50 grams of filling protein, as well as nearly 20% of your recommended daily allowance of bloat-fighting potassium. Like many of its fellow sea creatures, lobster is also a great source of omega-3s, which is, of course, a really good heart-healthy fat. We're going to do one more here. Get us down to number 18. Number 18, peaches. I really like your peaches. I love peaches. I like them grilled. But anyway, so they're a good source of vitamin C, beta-carotene. Both of them have been linked to improvements in immune health and lowering your weight. Peaches are actually a really good substitute for sorbet. If you just blend those and freeze them, you don't have to add sugar or anything. Yeah, just puree them up and put them in the freezer. You can put them in an ice cube tray or whatever, or freeze them in little bowls and then just pull them out as single serving. It's really good, really good. A lot of fruit can be done that way, as long as it's that kind of juicy summer fruit. Strawberries can be done that way. Frozen grapes are one of my favorites. All right, we'll get to the rest of the list tomorrow. I'm going to go back and let's touch, or maybe in a minute here. Sean Sheeler, better known as Whiskey Six. I put up this post. What are your thoughts on taking a shot of rum out of a hollowed out Spam chunk of Spam used as the shot glass? And Sean Sheeler put up this face that's so funny. It's this little girl who's like, I think it's a little girl looking at you like, dude, that's weird. It's a little meme. Anyway, and then Chef Nick Rickman goes, cutting edge. Yeah, no, not really. But thanks, Nick, for the shout out. Good seeing you down here. Let's see. Rich Frankel, Ceylon cinnamon from India does not have the toxicity that most other cinnamon has in larger amounts. Thanks. That's good to know. Let's see. Richard Brandt currently sucking on Atomic Fireballs. Extra cinnamon. Good job, Richard. Travis, wait. Did you just call me old? I didn't call you old. I don't think. I may have. Richard Brandt, eating celery is like chewing on water. Well, it is actually. So did you know it takes more calories to digest and ingest celery than it does to than it provides you. So it's a really good weight loss product. You could do the same thing, of course, with probably broccoli is probably about the same. Pretty sure, Richard Brandt also says, pretty sure the technical term is spam carcass. Okay, well, I hadn't thought of that one. Let's see. Richard Frankel bought 2 bags of almonds, of chocolate with almonds in prep unintentionally. Lol. Let's see, or LOL, sorry. Richard Brent, dang it, I had some APR coffee drops I meant to bring to work. Oh, by the way, the APR, American Pride Roasters, their coffee drops are phenomenal. It's they have milk, it's like milk chocolate over coffee beans. Holy crap. But they're not the whole coffee beans. They're like kind of, oh my gosh. I don't eat like chocolate covered espresso beans very regularly. All right. I try to stay off of the caffeine as much as possible. But man, I'll tell you what, those little coffee drops are unbelievable. I don't know what you do to those DM, but damn, they're tasty. All right. Again, that's APR Coffee. Check them out, American Pride Roasters. They have some of the most phenomenal coffee blends. Some of the names I can't say on the air, so we'll just leave it at that. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. Yes, we did have a drier climate than you. That's my dad probably dried the pellets outside. He did have a drying, like a shed indoor that he would put them in after the initial couple of days. It wasn't enclosed, though, although no snow fell in it because it was covered by these huge pine trees that used to be there. Let's see. Anybody else? Yeah, Richard Brandt. I love that man. So, Richard, you're one of the wittiest people I know when it comes to discussing or coming up with these funny terms, but pretty sure the technical term is spam carcass. That's funny. Travis Watkins responding to the spam. I like rum. I'll eat spam. I do not want them together, nor do I. Well put, Richard. Very well put. Thank you. Randy White, yuck. With rum? Randy, I'm not sure there's anything you could drink out of there that would taste good. Vodka is probably the safest because it's by definition, a odorless, colorless, flavorless liquor, right? Which we all know is not really true. Let's see, Randy, I would say that there are no words, but unfortunately there are plenty of them. Yes, there are. You know what? Cthulhu like Lovecraftian existential dread when you see something that doesn't fit in the universe? Just that. Okay. Okay. So Matthew Holloway goes, you know that Cthulhu like Lovecraftian existential dread when you see something that doesn't fit in the universe? Just that, when commenting on this. Margaret Doty Hensley, my thoughts on this from Run 2, and that would be the sick to my stomach emoji. This has your name all over. Okay. So Brandon Cormier says, Adam Gautreau, this has your name all over it, bro. No. Can't do it. Marie Daniel, nope. Nope. Patrick Mosher, nope. That's me. You have lost my will to live. I'm sorry, Richard. I didn't mean to put that out there. All right. So, let's see. Tomorrow, National Sugar Cookie Day. You know, I don't understand the sugar cookie / why is a who can answer me this? Why is a sugar cookie the exact same recipe with a little cinnamon on top not called a sugar cookie with cinnamon? It's called a snickerdoodle. I know the name originates from this German cookie that's been mispronounced and blah, blah. I get that. I speak German. I looked up. But what in the hell? It's just a freaking sugar cookie with a sprinkle of cinnamon on top. That's it. There's nothing. It's not even cacao powder, with a little bit of cinnamon in it sprinkled on top. It's just plain old cinnamon. Mike, what do you think? You snickerdoodle fan?
I love snickerdoodles.
I like them too, but they're just don't you like cinnamon cookies with cinnamon on there? I mean, sugar cookies with cinnamon on top?
It's the same thing.
That's what I know. That's really what I'm saying. Why do I have to call it a snickerdoodle? Like, it's hard enough to say Snickers and doodle. Now you put them together. So I speak a little too fast for my tongue sometimes because I was the youngest of 5 children in a family in upstate New York, and there wasn't always unlimited food stores, so you talked fast and you ate faster, right? Otherwise, I didn't get a word in edgewise.
It's like you were the runt of the litter.
Actually, I'm the biggest of all. My brother's a little heavier than I am for the first time in his life probably because he quit smoking, but like 10 years ago, and he just never stopped eating since then. But yeah, I don't understand why we have to complicate the name of a cookie. It's a sugar cookie with cinnamon on top. Doc and I had this big conversation that went back and forth. It's like the difference between. No, it's not. Never mind. I was going to say something else, but it doesn't. It's apples to oranges. All right, folks, I got a minute 18 left. Thank you for listening today. It was really fun. Karen Mosher, Carrie, my lovely sister. Mike, thanks for all your support back there. I don't underestimate the importance of a mentor. I'd actually love to sit down and learn more about Henry Liu, the engineer that helped found the Kangsheng Knife Company, the cutlery company, which if you are listening today, go to the Spoony Radio Facebook page, and I put at Kangsheng Cutlery up there. So if you just click on it, it'll take you right to their Facebook page. Fantastic knives, man. Such cool stuff. I can't wait to slice and dice me some fish with this one, baby. Actually, you know what? I think, I've got the short form content all lined out that I'm going to start doing on Facebook and YouTube. And so that series will start. I'm thinking I want to do it this week, but I don't know who I'm going to have to produce it for me. So maybe I'll just have to set up the damn camera and do it myself, right? That's what they make those little handy things called a tripod for. Yeah. Anyway, Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a great day. I'm glad to be back on a Monday. Man, be good to yourselves. Be aware of what you eat. Try something new. And don't forget, you are what you eat, right? So stay tuned. Come back tomorrow. Ciao for now.